in the mirror. Man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you.
Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. If you're easily triggered, leave now because this is not the show for you. In this reaction video, I'll be talking about how women, they always say that they don't want struggle love, but yet they choose to have children when they're broke. They have no careers. They don't have no stable employment. Or if they do, the job don't pay nothing but peanuts. So we're going to go ahead and cover that for a second. Give me a second as I put on your screen. Hope y'all doing all right. Yes, sir. All right, now let's get it.
But I believe that if you are really poor, you should not be having kids.
I remember this was a topic on Twitter a while ago, and a lot of people were upset by it and saying this is eugenics, people should still be able to have kids even if they're dirt poor. And no, they shouldn't, because children are not dolls. Children are not toys. You don't just get one just because you want one. If you don't have the means to take care of a child, why are you having kids? Literally, it's not even eugenics, it's just common fucking sense. Being a parent comes with...
Exactly. There's a lot of women who always complain about struggle love, about a man got to have all this money to be with them, right? But when it comes down to it, a lot of these women are broke. They don't have no money, okay? So what they do, they still open their wombs to anybody. They still give Pookie, Ray Ray, and Nook Nook a child out of wedlock, and they still pursue men who don't have children so they can dump those little kids on them because they're broke. Poor people, and it happens, but if you don't have no money to bring your child into a life of stability, you shouldn't be having children. This is why women complain about no one want to keep their kids. There's no babysitter. Life is hard. What am I going to do about these kids? Or they say, I got a package deal. If you want me, you got to take care of my kids. Or, man, I don't got time for no foolishness, man. I got kids to raise and stuff like. Look, whose fault is that other than yours? You knew you didn't have no money when you had these children. You knew how much money you had in your checking account or savings account before you got knocked up. Okay, you chose to have children and to bring these kids into a lifestyle of poverty, a lifestyle of struggling. These kids don't have no advantage. They have disadvantages because of your actions and your decisions. Okay, so now they have to deal with getting hand-me-down clothes, used clothes, shopping at the Goodwill, not being able to have the nicer things in life that other children are having because mama decided to go ahead and get knocked up by Pookie, Ray Ray, and Nook Nook. Because she thought love paid bills. Love don't pay bills, okay? All right? And you getting pregnant by men who will not marry you, so there's no ideal of any type of consistent income that will come in to provide for you and your children. So stop telling us, I don't deal with men because it's all struggle love. You're the reason why you're struggling. You're the reason. Any woman that gets pregnant and has a baby outside of wedlock, they are the creator of that struggle love, not that man, because you the one who have to carry that kid and you knew how much money you had. And in most cases, you know he ain't got no money. You know he's staying with his mama. You know he's staying with his friends. You know he ain't got no good job. You know that. So the real person who brought about this struggle love label are the women who created it. It wasn't the men. The women create struggle love. You're too broke to be having children. You can't afford to have one child, but yet you get pregnant again, have another child. You get pregnant again, have another child. At the end of the 2 years or 3 years, you got 4 kids and you can't afford one. So what makes you think after you have one, you can afford another child? Because you think the government is going to help you. And when the government gives you money, you still broke. You still don't got no damn money. So you are creating not generational wealth, you are creating generational poverty. Maybe those kids will grow up and be productive and become rich and be a millionaire. Who knows? But the chances of that, unlikely. Some kids do pull themselves up from the bootstraps and become successful. But in most cases, they don't. They don't. They stay in that damn neighborhood or they stay with that broke mentality of scarcity because they got it from you. It's just the truth. Stop being a woman who has children when you're broke. Because when you're broke, this is when you start complaining about the village. Nobody wants to help me raise my kids. No one is supposed to help you raise your kids. They your kids. You get me? They can help you out of kindness, but there's not their responsibility to raise your children. It's yours and your husband if you had one.
with requirements, and one of those requirements is being financially stable. You don't have to be a millionaire, but you should have enough money to feed your child every single day and clothe them and not have them living a life of struggle. I don't think that's asking for a lot. And let's put the money aside real quick. I still feel like a lot of y'all should not be having kids because you are incompetent. A lot of y'all are emotionally inept.
That's true. A lot of these women are emotionally inept. They're not competent, man. These women get mad at everything. When things don't go right, they want to quit the job. They want to quit the marriage. They want to quit the relationship just because something happened that made them feel a little bad. You're not emotionally mature enough to handle your own life. So why do you think that you will be emotionally mature enough to be a mother to a child? Because that child gonna stress you out. That child gonna cry. That child gonna be demanding because they gonna need things. And you gonna be wanting to go to the club. You gonna want to be living your single life, but you can't now because you got a baby. Stop having children when you're broke. Stop having children when you ain't got nothing. Stop having children when you don't have a career. Stop having children when you're not married to a man. Stop having children when you're not financially secure. Stop having children when you're not able to live on your own. Stop having children when you can't afford your own car, your own apartment, your own house. This is common sense, but common sense is not common among women today, in my most humble opinion. And this is for educational purposes. YouTube.
You can't even regulate your own emotion. You resort to beating a child when they make mistakes, and you spiral over the smallest things. You don't have what it takes. You don't have the patience, the skill that it takes to be a parent. And a lot of y'all just are not self-aware of that. You think the only reason you need to have a child is simply because you want one. You're not willing to do anything else it takes to prepare you for that child, emotionally, financially, physically. You're not willing to do anything else.
They are willing to sell their bodies. There's a lot of single mothers out there who don't want to work or who don't want to further their education, but they're willing to lay down with any man who will give them $40 to $150. Okay? They're willing to talk bad about men who are actually trying to be productive, who are going to school, getting educated, developing skill sets to be a productive, needed person in society. They willing to talk bad about them while these women are willing to sit on their ass and hope that Uncle Sam give them money for having kids, for being a baby making factory to men who have low character, who is not desirable. They would like to have kids with men that other men of value look down upon. Okay? Because why? They're lazy. They are lazy, in my most humble opinion.
Else. Having a child is inherently selfish, so I feel like being financially stable is the bare minimum thing that you can do to ensure that this child has a decent life. Why is this even controversial? And the last thing I want to mention is children who grew up in poverty will tell y'all that you should wait until you're financially stable to have kids.
The reason why they would tell you that, because they went without. There was days that they didn't get to eat. They was hungry some days. There was days when they didn't have jackets when it was cold outside. There were days when they didn't have enough water or electrolytes in the refrigerator when it was hot outside. There were days when the lights would turn on. There were days when they had to walk here and there. There were days when they couldn't go to certain things because they didn't have enough money to go there. There were days when they went to school and they got laughed at because they couldn't afford some of the things that the children at school had because their parents was able to give it to them. That's why. In other words, those kids who grew up to being adults, who warned other people not to have children until they are financially stable, they suffered because mama decided to have children when she was broke. Broke.
Grew up in poverty will tell y'all that you should wait until you're financially stable to have kids. But y'all don't want to listen. You just want to have a little doll that you can play dress up with.
Exactly. Children are not playthings. Children are human beings. They have lives and they feel pain, they feel joy, they feel misery too. And when you bring up a child in poverty, they are going to get miserable. When they start to see that they don't have certain things that they wish they had that everybody else got. Okay? Well, anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Let me know what you think about this topic. Talk to you later, y'all. You'll take it safe. Take it easy. You hear?